Proof of work is the algorithm that secures many cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. Most digital currencies have a central entity leader that keeps the track of every user. However, there is no such leader in charge of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. So keep watching to learn what proof of work actually is and why is it still needed. Proof of work is a decentralized consensus mechanism that requires members of a network to expend efforts to solve an arbitrary mathematical puzzle whose basic motive is to secure the system. Now, you might be wondering what exactly a consensus mechanism is. Let me put it easily for you. Consider a database holding information about the driving licenses issued in a country. There is a central authority that maintains and updates the database, making it the sole in charge of maintaining the records. However, in the case of blockchains, this is completely different because they operate as decentralized self regulating systems on a global scale and involve contributions from hundreds and thousands of participants working on the verification and authentication of the transactions of the blockchain. These publicly shared ledger, which is basically a record keeping system, requires an efficient, fair, reliable, and secure mechanism to ensure the authenticity of all the transactions. This important task is performed by the consensus mechanism, which is a set of rules that decides on the contributions by the various participants on the blockchain. So if you are still with us, please consider clicking that like button. It motivates us to bring out more and more interesting content for you guys. Now that we have a basic understanding of what the consensus mechanism is, let's move to our main topic, proof of work. How proof of work works. Bitcoin, as we all know, is based on blockchain, which is a shared ledger containing a history of every Bitcoin transaction that ever took place. Blockchain, as the name suggests, is a chain of blocks, and these new blocks are added to the Bitcoin blockchain. These new blocks are put to life by the miners, who are the players in the ecosystem, executing the proof of work. New block is accepted by the network each time miner comes up with a winning proof of work, which happens roughly every 10 minutes. Now, you might be wondering, why is all of this needed? Why is proof of work even needed? Don't worry, we have got you covered. The main reason proof of work is needed is because it solves the double spending problem, which is much trickier and harder to solve without a leader in charge. Double spending basically means replicating the digital coins and spending it on two different items, even though you only have enough coins to buy only one item. This is a big issue for online transactions because if users can double spend their coins, this would inflate the overall supply, making the currency unpredictable and worthless. This makes proof of work necessary of adding new blocks to the Bitcoin blockchain, which all happens because of mining. So let's understand a little about it. In order to validate a transaction, there is a lot of work miners need to put in, which in turn earns them Bitcoin if they guess the matching computation. The only way to do this is through expensive and specialized computers. The task of the miners is to find out the unique hash of the block, which is a random looking string of letters and numbers. Miners make trillions of such computations in a second, so it takes them about 10 minutes on average to spit out this unique hash. Hopefully, this makes you understand how difficult it is for someone like you and me to mine Bitcoin. If you guess the unique hash first, voila, you are rewarded with some Bitcoin. The transaction is then validated and the block is added to the blockchain. However, there are a number of problems associated with proof of work, hindering the community wide adoption of it. So let's go through it. High energy use. As per the article by BBC News, Bitcoin's electricity consumption is greater than Argentina, Netherlands, UAE, and many others. To maximize profits, miners often connect large numbers of mining equipment to the network using lots of electricity because computers are constantly working on the guessing work as discussed before. However, nowadays miners are moving to renewable resources like solar and wind energy for Bitcoin mining. 51% attacks. If one mining entity is able to accumulate 51% of Bitcoin's mining hash rate, it can then disregard all the rules temporarily, like the double spending and the blocking transactions. These issues are made even worse by the growing ability of attackers to rent out the hash power than purchasing the equipment themselves. This has resulted in several successful 51% attacks over the past one and a half year. Victims include Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin Gold, and many others. Then there is no mechanism to harshly penalize validators. Since mining is anonymous and open, it is impossible to blacklist a malicious validatory from participating in a network, and there is no way to confiscate their mining equipment as punishment for misbehaving. Proof of stake, on the other hand, has slashing penalty which discourages validatory misbehavior and promotes security. Two main reasons for slashing penalty are to make it expensive to attack the network, to make validators behave responsibly. We'll discuss proof of stake in detail in a different video, so stay tuned for that. Sharding the network might increase the efficiency but decreases the security. In the future, we do want to make a video explaining sharding. If you are interested in understanding sharding, do let us know in the comment section. Another problem is that it does not scale well. This is a big problem. Consider that you are trying to send $10 to your friend, and at peak times the transaction fee can easily exceed your initial amount. Proof of work is used as a random method to determine the next valid block. That is, all nodes running proof of work for a certain amount of time to determine the winner. A new block needs to be synchronized to the whole network so that every node could roughly compete in the same race for the next block. Bitcoin proof of work has a cascade structure. That consensus algorithm could only start after all nodes finished receiving and validating all the blocks. Now, I hope you understand why we need proof of work. So, in conclusion, proof of work is a decentralized consensus mechanism that requires members of the network to put in the effort guessing the hash of the block. Due to proof of work, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency transactions can be processed peer to peer in a secured manner without the need of a trusted third party. This is done with the help of miners or validators. Miners secure the network as well as create new blocks. A valid block is added to the blockchain and the miner is then rewarded in the form of Bitcoin. On that note, let me take your leave. Thank you so much for watching. I have a lot more videos planned, so make sure to subscribe this channel and we will see you in the next one.